we gonna do now?
So hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Mr. Martash, and today we are reviewing Xcom 2. Now I'm sorry it took so long for me to do this review, just that I had lots of uni work to do. I still do, by the way, and also filming the wee shot at the beginning of this video took fucking forever to edit. Anyway, moving on. So, if you've never heard of Xcom 2, basically it's a turn-based strategy game which is incredibly hard. Seriously, when I mean incredibly hard, I mean it's like the Dark Souls version of turn-based strategy games. That's how hard it is. It took me a load of time just to complete the main story on this easiest difficulty, and that is how hard it is, and you're gonna be raging like shit. So XCOM 2 is a sequel to Enemy Unknown, and this review is coming from someone who's never played any XCOM game before, had no idea what they were getting themselves into, knew that it was a turn-based strategy game, but didn't know the other parts of it, aka how fucking difficult it was. So the story of XCOM 2 is basically about aliens are now running the entire Earth, and humans don't know this. Except some people. Some people know this and they call themselves the Resistance, who are trying to fight these aliens back, but most of the population of humans are fucking idiots, just like, well, today, and they just accept it, even though basically they're getting experimented on and turned into shit. And that's where Xcom comes in. So Xcom is a team of Resistance that's trying to combat the aliens on Earth, and that's what this game's about. It's about you, who is playing a character called the Commander, which gets really fucking annoying after a couple of times they say it.
Oh, Commander. Available.
Hey, Commander.
You will call me Commander.
And you have to basically fight back with the other resistances around the world to reclaim Earth and show the rest of the stupid humanity on this planet that actually they're being run by aliens and they're gonna fight back. That's the story of XCOM 2, so enjoy. So how long is the story? Well, to be honest with you, I have no fucking idea. It took me like 5 hours in the first playthrough, and then it took me another 6 hours in the next playthrough, then it took me like, I don't know, 5 hours in the next one, and then a couple more hours, and then a couple more hours, until eventually I managed to complete the game. So this game will take you forever to complete. It takes so long to do, since you may have to restart the campaign quite a few times in order to progress somewhere because you made the wrong decision down the road. And I'll get into that in a bit. So XCOM 2 is probably one of the best turn-based strategy games I've ever played. There's so many different tactical decisions that you have to make on the battlefield and off the battlefield, and each thing can change how the game plays. And actually, it's just so fucking amazing to play through, and if this game's on sale, you gotta give it to yourself to pick it up and just try it and try one of the best turn-based strategy games out there.
Raggiungo la posizione.
There's actually two components of strategy in XCOM 2, and that's basically in the battlefield and outside the battlefield. And this is where the hard problems start coming in and start to crank up the difficulty, even though you're playing on the lowest difficulty. So when you're in the battlefield, you're strategizing when your players are going, if you've got cover, if your guys are wide open in the middle of just in the middle of nothingness, ready to get shot and blown to pieces at, if you're gonna throw a grenade over there, if you're gonna use a special equipment thing, if you're doing all this strategy, or if you just cannot complete the mission, you can evac the fuck out of there and get all your guys back to base as quick as possible. And then the second strategy is when you are away from the battlefield, and that is when you are in the spaceship. Your own. So basically, the spaceship is kind of like your operating station. It's where you command everything. It's where you do all the research and do all the engineering to get new equipment, and where the map is, and you get to explore the world and do all this kind of stuff and see your characters and see your team and all that kind of jazz. So this is where it starts getting hard due to the fact that it requires two different types of strategies, and that is strategy in the actual battlefield, which I'm good at, and then strategy outside of the battlefield, which I'm really fucking shit at. So when you're outside of the battlefield, you can do these what you call research. Now these research things will give you new upgrades for your units, or it will upgrade how you contact other resistances, and makes it easier for you to do that and do all that kind of stuff, which is quite amazing. But the research here ends up making the game even harder, due to the fact that even though it gives you lots of different paths to take and lots of different what to choose from first, there's actually only one right path, and if you don't manage to choose that path, you're gonna end up regretting it in the long run, since you'll end up having to restart the campaign.
Though I was never witness to one myself, countless observers attest to the existence of a much smaller, less intimidating variant of the sectoid that took part in the original invasion. In the time since, this new being, the product of clear genetic manipulation, is now a familiar face to our forces operating in the field.
And then you've got engineering that is able to develop equipment which you'll be taking into the battlefield in order to help with getting past some of the very powerful alien units that you're up against in this game. And here's a wee tip or advice: do not forget your equipment, and do not forget to choose what you're going to take into battle for your equipment, because you'll actually get butt fucked if you do. Now, there's one thing in this game that is absolutely amazing, and actually I spent like 2 hours just doing it, and that is the customization. So the customization is absolutely amazing. You can customize, so when you start off you get a preset people that you can that are just random, but then you can absolutely customize any one of them. You can change their face, you can change their gender, you can change their name, you can change their nickname, you can change how what their kind of stance is, if it's tense or laid back. You can change absolutely everything about them. You can even change their fucking backstory if you wanted to. And all of this just makes you fucking care for your characters, and because of this leads on to my next point. When you lose one of your men on the battlefield, when they die, they die. They don't come back. They are dead. And if you don't manage to rescue them, yeah, you lose them forever. And because of this, if you've managed to customize these people to an extent where you're like, yeah, they're so fucking cool, or they're a character which you care about, when this happens, you feel like fucking shit. And, well, yeah, you end up reloading the game really fucking fast. For me, personally, I created a character called Sarah Carrigan, because, you know, from StarCraft 2, who was a sniper. And, well, she died in one of my games. I had to reload the fuck out of that, and I've never reloaded a game so fast in my life, because I cared so fucking much for this character, due to the fact she was probably the most powerful person on my team I've ever had, and I do not want her to die.
Taking losses here!
So because that your characters can die on the field, it ends up creating incredibly epic moments. And these epic moments is when one of your men goes down, you are allowed to pick them up. And if you're able to, and then you can carry them to the evac zone, and it's just like those old World War II movies where they pick up their men and are like, yeah, let's get the fuck out of here. And then while this is happening, you're running through all these enemies on Overwatch and start taking shots at you. Some miss, some hit, and you're like, oh no, don't kill him, don't kill him. And it's just so amazing, and it creates those epic moments, and it actually makes you fucking care for those characters.
I guess that'll be okay.
Excellent work, Commander. Looks like the Avenger lives to...
So, when you start off the game, and you get the first characters, and you get 4 of them, and they're all rookies. And when you play with them for a bit, then they level up, and they each become a different class. And those classes can range from the Ranger class, Specialist class, Sharpshooter class. It just gives you such a massive range of what you can actually do. And if that wasn't enough for the class system, every time that you keep on leveling up your character, you're allowed to go down different paths of a tree, and they can choose kind of what kind of abilities that your character gets. For example, for the Sharpshooter one, you can go down one path, which will let you basically become the best sniper ever. Or you can go down another path which makes you become just an incredibly awesome pistol-wielding badass that can shoot anything in one turn. So throughout the game, you're introduced to brand new enemy types at a pretty frequent pace, so it keeps the game very interesting. You start off with a generic kind of aliens with machine guns, and then you go on to aliens that can control minds and basically fuck you up so hard by basically mind controlling one of your characters and making them turn on you and then take it and then just absolutely waste you. Yeah, that's how awesome these enemies are, and that's just like in the first hour. Then it gets even harder and harder. You get to enemies that can change shape and absolutely wreck you. You can get enemies that when they die, they actually have another fail-safe function and they can come back to life for one last turn, for like one last time, and you gotta basically kill them all over again, and they're quite tough to kill. And then you got this massive orb fucker.
This one is uniquely graceful compared to some of the other species we've seen. It also gives off very strong psionic readings.
So this guy is incredibly hard due to the fact that he has a lot of health, he can do a lot of fucking damage, he has armor, so when you shoot at him, that armor absorbs some of that damage to begin with, which isn't really helpful when you're trying to kill this fucker. So you gotta use grenades on this guy in order to break that armor. And then, if that wasn't enough, he can shoot like a blast radius thing, where anything inside this blast radius, any kind of dead enemy types will come back to life. And yeah, that's kind of a problem. And if that wasn't enough, he can run over to your face and smash you, and then life steal you. So one of your guys will lose life and he'll gain life. Yeah! Totally not OP, especially for new players. Anyway, you gotta use your equipment to get past this guy. So throughout the game, you'll be doing lots of different objectives, from rescuing VIPs or capturing VIPs, which is kind of the same thing, except you gotta knock them the fuck out and then drag them to, you know, the evac zone without their consent. And then you got the other ones where you got to kill every goddamn alien on the field. Then you got the some other ones where you've got to get to the objective and destroy it, or save the objective, or you got to rescue all the civilians. And it's just such a really fun time doing these game modes. The only problem is there's one game mode or objective type which they use far too often, and it actually pisses you the fuck off. And that is timed objectives. So in the short I did in the start of this video, it was basically representing this objective, how it can actually piss you the fuck off. And that's timed objectives, and basically it gives you an objective such as acquire this, acquire the intel, stop them from transmitting something, but you only have like 4 turns to do it, or 6 turns, and in this time you can't do any kind of awesome strategies, which is a massive problem. And you end up just running in, and because of this you end up getting absolutely butt fucked due to the fact that you're not being very strategic and you're just running all your guys forward, and then they can absolutely fuck your ass. So this type of objective takes away all the strategy from the game, and it happens way too often, and you fucking absolutely hate it. But if that wasn't bad enough, let me tell you what's the worst part of this game for new players, and that is Project Avatar. So what's Project Avatar, you may be wondering? Well, let me just explain this. Project Avatar is alien research. So when you're doing your research, the aliens are doing theirs. And every time they manage to research something, another point gets added on to the bar at the top of the screen for Project Avatar. And every single point makes the game harder, due to the fact that the research increases the fucking difficulty of the goddamn forces which you're going to be up against. From they have new equipment now, they can do this, they can do that this time, and it makes the game harder, right? Well, that's not just it. When Project Avatar bar fills to the top of the screen, it starts a countdown, which reminds me a lot of Modern Warfare 2's Nuke. Well, funny enough, it's basically that. If you let that countdown get to 0, it ends the campaign.
Say what?
Yeah, it straight up ends the campaign. You actually can lose a campaign. Which caught me off guard, since I never played any of these fucking games before. So yeah, that was quite fucking weird experience for me.
I stand before you truly humbled. So many lives lost. So many needless sacrifices endured as we have struggled to cope with those who would see our great coalition fall. Today our struggle ends. Xcom is no more. Advent peacekeepers have reduced the last of their strongholds to ashes. And with it, the fragmented remains of the old world are finally washed away. Thank you for your continued support. And thank you to the Elders for their guidance through this crisis. Long live Advent. Long live the Elders.
And because of this Project Avatar, I had to restart my campaign like 5 fucking times before I was able to complete it. That's how annoying it was. On the lowest difficulty too, which is really, really sad. Now, of course, there's ways to combat this, and that is when you do certain objectives, it will take away one of those points, and it will let you survive for another day. But the thing is, it's not really new player friendly, since, you know, if you don't take the right research in the beginning, it ends up fucking in the ass in the long run, because then the Project Avatar starts and then you get absolutely fucked. Yay! Totally fun. And because of how many times I had to retry this damn campaign, I kind of lost all enjoyment of the game after the second time. I was kind of playing through the exact same things. I knew it was going to happen. The only thing that was different every time is that the maps were mostly random generated things, so it's not like you're seeing the same thing over again, which has to be commended for. But the thing is, I kind of lost all enjoyment of the game after the second time, because I never realized how fucking annoying that would be on the easiest difficulty too. Which is saying something, since I was having a fucking blast of this game when I was in the first playthrough of this game. I was having so much fun. I thought this game was amazing, but then this Avatar project thing came up, and then I got absolutely butt fucked. So the ending of XCOM 2 sets up an XCOM 3, which is a great thing for XCOM fans, and it's probably in development already due to the fact how well this game's doing. But for me personally, I feel like XCOM 2 is my last XCOM game, due to the fact that I don't really want to be retrying the campaign another time, ever. So if the campaign doesn't float your boat, then maybe the multiplayer would, if it wasn't broken. Now, I say if it wasn't broken because there's some things that happens in the multiplayer where it's just kind of weird, and I don't know if it's actually intentional or if it is actually broken. And that is, when you start up a game with someone and you make your turn and then you click end turn, it will take like 10 minutes just for the other person to start their turn for some odd reason. And the only thing I can think of that what's happening is that it's recorded all of my data from my PC, and basically when I click end turn, it sends all that to the other one, and then it carries out what I did on their screen, and then it starts their turn. So yeah, I don't really want to be waiting 10 minutes just for my turn to end. Yay. So when you start the multiplayer, you have to create your team, and you get to choose from all these different types of units which has different points allocated to them, and the points come into the balancing system where you gotta have this amount of points in order to enter this game, or this amount of points to enter this game, and it's actually a pretty decent system. But after a couple of games, I couldn't bring myself to play any more multiplayer due to the fact I couldn't be arsed waiting 10 minutes just for my turn to end. And I was just kind of sitting there watching a fucking movie when this was happening. And there we go. Yay for the multiplayer. So, around the community, there's been some speculations of performance issues, and yes, this game does have quite a few performance issues. First of all, the game is not very graphically intense on ultra settings, and yet it will implode your PC. It will actually destroy your system. Like, Rise of the Tomb Raider has better graphics, and it runs way better than XCOM 2 does, which is really fucking weird and needs to be fixed right now. And also there is some graphical glitches too, especially for the camera angles, where when you're taking a very special shot, the camera will follow where you're shooting, except to end up staring at a wall when you're killing someone. Totally, that's what I want to watch when I'm decking an alien to death. Yay. Now apparently those issues were an enemy unknown, so I don't know why the fuck they haven't fixed it yet, or they maybe just couldn't be arsed to do it, which is quite ironic since this game is only out for the PC version, so surely they should have optimized it better for the PC. Whereas Rise of the Tomb Raider was out for the Xbox One and PC, and it's going to be coming out for PS4 too, so yeah, I don't understand what's happening there.
No longer a threat. They've got our position.
Come on! That is not good.
So the final verdict of XCOM 2 is a 7 out of 10. It's a good game. It has its problems for new players, but for old veterans or people who love XCOM as a franchise will absolutely love it. Or if you love incredibly hard, challenging games, XCOM 2 is good and it's for you. When the performance and multiplayer is fixed, the game could get an 8 out of 10 or possibly more to a 9 out of 10, but I think when it's all fixed, it'll be an 8 out of 10. The game is brutally hard when you're playing on the lowest damn difficulty, which says it's for new players, but clearly is not. And if you don't like Dark Souls or very hard games, you won't enjoy XCOM 2, due to the fact you'll be replaying the fuck out of it so many times, and it ends up pissing you the fuck off.
In my worst nightmares, I would never have imagined.
Doctor.
I believe we have found the missing civilians.
So everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm sorry I haven't been posting up anything lately. Had a lot of work to do for uni, I still do, like I said, and doing this short at the beginning of the video was pretty fucking hard to do. But the next review will be The Division, and we'll see how well that goes, and hopefully I can get that done by the end of March, and possibly maybe get another game going, another review in there somewhere. I don't know what other games are coming out. But anyway, thank you so much for watching my review, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye!